Hello, and thank you for watching our presentation of the 2014 proposed budget. My name is Lori Jaban, and I'm the Acting Coordinator of Budgets and Policy. The 2014 proposed capital and current budgets are submitted and prepared following both the strategic plan and the long-term financial plan. There are many projects, programs, and services in the budget following the three strategic directions. Vibrant neighborhoods. There are projects and services provided to increase investment in parks, recreation facilities, and community centers, and address the emerald ash borer infestation. Prosperity, where we continue to plan for today or tomorrow, focusing on our official plan, transportation plan, and increased funding to support our investment in the Joseph Brand Hospital redevelopment. Excellence in government. The budget ensures financial sustainability through prudent financial management and moving towards meeting the 5 strategic financial objectives of the long-term financial plan, which will support the city in contributing to financial sustainability, provide clarity on financial goals, priorities, and impacts, continuing developing performance measures, and demonstrating effective governance. The following provides an overall view of the city budget. City expenditures occur in 2 areas: the city capital budget and the operating budget. Spending for the capital budget is based on a 10-year plan and translates into tangible things that you can see throughout the city, such as developing new parks, renewing existing roadways, revitalizing our pools and arenas. Spending for the operating budget is for the city's day-to-day costs of delivering programs and services, such as public transit, maintenance of parks, and providing recreational programming. Predictable infrastructure investment is one of the strategic objectives in the long-term financial plan. The city's infrastructure is aging, and funds must be provided to ensure it is properly maintained and renewed. The infrastructure challenge is that resources are not keeping pace with renewal needs. However, progress is being made. In 2014, the city continues to dedicate incremental increases in renewal funding by approximately $643,000, which is equivalent to a 0.5% tax increase. As well, an additional $500,000 of funding has been redirected within the capital budget towards the city's road resurfacing program, also known as Shave and Pave. The city's 2014 capital program is $68 million. Over the next 10 years, the city is forecasting to spend a total of $562 million. These expenditures are largely focused on maintaining our existing infrastructure, as well as accommodating the new infrastructure required as the city grows. The replacement value of all the city's assets is approximately $2.5 billion. The largest component of our infrastructure is our linear assets at $2 billion, which include things such as roads, storm sewers, bridges, culverts, and sidewalks. The next largest group of assets is our city-owned facilities and buildings at $295 million. A staff team has recently completed a review to determine the renewal needs of our assets, both now and into the future. This work has revealed that there is an existing backlog of renewal work that should have been completed of $147.8 million. Annually, the city provides approximately $20.9 million of funding for the renewal of our assets. However, this funding is insufficient to address all of our renewal needs. Annual renewal needs, shown in green, are projected to continue to exceed current funding levels, which are shown in blue. As you can see by this chart, the resulting cumulative backlog will continue to grow substantially if there is no change to the amount of dollars invested to renew our assets. To address this problem, the city has looked at 4 different scenarios which will increase funding to the capital renewal program. These scenarios allow us to eliminate the annual funding deficit and existing backlog in 4 different time horizons, as shown on the screen. Each scenario will require additional tax increases dedicated to our infrastructure renewal program. All of the above scenarios also assume decreases in the levy to the Joseph Brand Hospital redevelopment project will be redirected to infrastructure renewal. Choosing a scenario to address the problem must be a balance between appropriately addressing our infrastructure needs while mitigating the impact on taxes. As such, in December, Council approved the 20-year scenario of the Asset Management Financing Plan. As you can see by this chart, the proposed increased funding into the Capital Renewal Program eliminates the backlog of renewal needs in approximately 20 years. In summary, if renewal funding were frozen at today's level, the backlog of renewal needs would continue to grow substantially over time. Increasing the funding by the 0.5% dedicated renewal levy, which has been in place for some years now, is still insufficient to meet our long-term needs. Repurposing the hospital levy over time decreases this backlog further, but is still not enough. The city will require additional dedicated funding as per the approved scenario to fully address our long-term infrastructure needs. These additional levies are currently scheduled to begin in 2015. The city's 10-year capital proposed budget is approximately $562 million. There are 9 asset categories. Roadways represents the largest component of spending in the budget at 54%. When combined with facilities and buildings, they in total represent roughly 69% of the 10-year capital program. The projects in the 10-year budget focus primarily on our infrastructure renewal needs. It has been estimated that $3 million in funding is required annually for pavement resurfacing to stabilize the decline in the pavement quality of our local roads. As part of the 2014 proposed budget, funding for the Shave and Pave program has increased to $2.5 million, up from $2 million in 2013. The remainder of the capital forecast brings this funding up to the required annual amount of $3 million per year. Staff understand the need to continue to increase this program while at the same time managing other competing renewal priorities in a fiscally prudent manner. Strategic objective number 1 of this long-term financial plan recommends that base budget tax rate changes align closely with inflation, using the performance measure of the Toronto Consumer Price Index 3-year rolling average. The base budget is the ongoing investment required to maintain existing service levels, excluding special levies such as that of the hospital. The city's 2014 base budget tax change is 0.89%. Any changes above or below existing service levels that are significant are presented to Council as separate business cases. This chart outlines the 2014 proposed tax rate change. 3 budget scenarios have been presented to Council. The status quo scenario results in a 4.66% city tax increase. This budget largely maintains existing services and adds new services to areas as a result of growth, expansion of some existing services, and some new areas of business for the city. This budget scenario was first presented to Council at the December 5th Committee of the Whole meeting. The next scenario is that which has been recommended by our Executive Budget Committee. It is a balanced approach that reduces the tax impact by 0.353% to 4.13%, with minimal impact to taxpayers. Finally, a service change scenario has been presented. This scenario achieves a 1% reduction to the 4.66 status quo scenario. Achieving this reduction would require some service reductions, which will have varying degrees of impact to the taxpayer. The long-term financial plan strategic objective number 4 relates to predictable infrastructure investment. It states that the city has an obligation to protect its investment and strike a balance between new and enhanced facilities and the proper maintenance of existing infrastructure. For a number of years, the city has increased the levy dedicated for infrastructure renewal by 0.5% annually. The recommended budget includes this increase for 2014, which is in line with the recommendations of the Asset Management Financing Plan. The additional increases to this levy above the 0.5% are scheduled to begin in 2015. Also included in the recommended 2014 budget is an increase to the funding for the replacement of city vehicles and equipment as they reach the end of their life cycle. There are 3 business cases presented in the 2014 proposed budget that relate to the new high school, rec center, and library in Alton, the Haber Recreation Center, and Alton Library. This is the annualization of the operating costs of the Recreation Center and Library, which opened in the fall of 2013. Transit service to Hayden Secondary School. This business case is for the full school year operation of transit service to Hayden Secondary School. As the city continues to grow, so do our costs. Included in the budget is the additional operating costs for 3 new water play features at Orchard, Hidden Valley, and Millcroft Park. This includes the costs for water and seasonal maintenance. Roads, parks, and IT maintenance costs of new infrastructure is approximately $52,000 for 2014. This includes maintenance of additional roads, sidewalks, and traffic lights, new sports fields at City View Park, and telecommunication services at Haber Community Center. These additional expenses of $815,000 are largely offset by revenue received from new assessment in the city. For 2014, this is approximately $745,000. As shown on the previous slide, assessment growth allows this municipality to finance increased growth costs without increasing taxes. From 2002 to 2007, Burlington's weighted assessment growth ranged anywhere from 2.19% in 2004 to 3.69% in 2002. However, over the last 6 years, there has been a decline in weighted assessment growth, with the 2014 figure dropping to just 0.58%. As the vacant lands in the city are developed, this source of revenue will continue to decline. A business case has been included from the Burlington Economic Development Corporation for approximately $275,000. This funding would be used towards their marketing strategies for the City of Burlington, to attract new businesses to Burlington, and to retain and expand existing companies. Heritage Burlington has made a request for program funding to support a new Heritage Property Tax Rebate Program. This program assists heritage property owners in maintaining their properties for the benefit of the residents and visitors of the City of Burlington, and shows the city's commitment to the conservation of the city's cultural heritage resources. There is also an associated city request for the new Heritage Planner position that is required to accommodate the increased workload resulting from the implementation of the new program. Included in the recommended budget is a request for a manager of cultural services to provide corporate leadership for arts and cultural initiatives and community development support to Burlington's cultural community. There is also a request to provide ongoing funding for the Community Gardens program, which will create permanent gardens at Central Park, Francis Road Park, and Amherst Park. The Ontario provincial government is legislating municipalities to participate in the Ontario One Call program by June 19, 2014. This provincial initiative will result in the public being able to call one number to locate all underground utilities, including traffic signal cable, storm sewers, and streetlight cable. The city will be charged per call in addition to performing the locates. The impact of this new legislation has been included in the recommended budget. Also included are requests for additional school crossing guards for 4 new locations at Alton Village Public School and St. Anne Catholic Elementary, as well as an assistant supervisor school crossing guard to provide appropriate management and oversight and training of school crossing guards at the 98 crossing locations within Burlington. 2014 is the final year for the increase to the levy for the Joseph Brant Hospital redevelopment. The $1.2 million increase in 2014 brings the annual levy amount up to $4.8 million, with no further increases scheduled beyond 2014. The new patient tower will be 7 stories and will allow for significant renovations to the existing main hospital building. Phase 2 is currently scheduled for completion by 2018. The next 4 slides will provide options to reduce services. These have not been included in the recommended budget, but are options for reducing the tax increase. Removing 1 leaf pickup south of the QEW. This proposal allows for 1 round of loose leaf collection across the city and would provide uniform service delivery across the city. Elimination of the leaf pickup north of the QEW. Most areas north of the QEW currently receive a single round of loose leaf collection. This proposal eliminates a leaf collection for areas north of the QEW currently receiving 1 round of collection. It should be noted that if both loose leaf collection options are pursued, the cumulative savings would only be $115,000, as both items eliminate the same resources. The revised sidewalk snow plowing. This proposal would lower the current service level of plowing of local sidewalks to match that of local road plowing. Currently, local sidewalks are plowed at 2 inches of accumulation of snow, with local roads at 3 inches. A proposal has been made to convert 10% of passive park areas to naturalized areas. This would reduce mowing and trimming of passive turf areas by approximately 10% in various park locations and allow naturalized growth. Included in the 2014 budget is an increase to enhance the maintenance of grass sports fields at regulation size lit fields. This planned enhancement would allow for proactive field maintenance, such as top dressing and more frequent fertilization. This would increase the quality of fields and reduce the amount of unplanned field closures. Elimination of this planned enhancement would reduce the 2014 budget by $40,000. Additional funding is included in the 2014 budget to enhance the current bus cleaning contract and bring it up to a more acceptable service standard. This proposal would maintain the service at the current level. A proposal has been made to reallocate provincial gas tax funds for transit capital renewal to the operating budget to offset the full year costs of providing transit service to Hayden Secondary School. Another option to reduce the proposed tax increase is to remove the BEDC business case discussed on the earlier slide from the budget. This could impact the strategy for business attraction. There are a number of additional business cases for Council's consideration that have not been included in the recommended budget. A request has been made from the Burlington Fire Department for 4 additional firefighters for Station 8. Currently, 1 staff position per shift is being covered with overtime when minimum staffing is not achieved. Burlington Transit has made a proposal to eliminate the current external contract for the cleaning of transit vehicles and do the cleaning in-house. There is an option to accelerate the increase to the dedicated capital infrastructure renewal levy that was to be made in 2015 to 2014. This would assist in funding the capital renewal program and advance the 20-year scenario by 1 year. Community Development Halton has submitted a request for the continuation of North Burlington work, in addition, and additional community development in Burlington at the neighborhood level. This business case will allow for the continuation of March break summer and other recreational programming for children in neighborhoods in Burlington, including the Chill Zone. The Sound of Music Festival has made a request for increased funding to support the growing festival. There is a request to convert a part-time museum special event assistant to a full-time position. This would be used to maintain and enhance the annual calendar of events and activities presented by Joseph Brant Museum and Ireland House at Oak Ridge Farm. During 2013, a number of changes to transit routes were made to reduce service on routes that had low ridership and to provide more service to high-performing routes. Since these changes were made, a number of citizens have suggested that the service reductions to some or all of the routes should be reinstated. This business case would restore these services and ranges from $1 million to $2.8 million. With climate change comes an increase in storms, wind, ice, snow, and flooding. They require additional resources to respond to these more commonplace occurrences. Resources are being requested to better meet public expectations, proactively implement maintenance programs aimed at mitigating the impact of storms, and to improve response capabilities when extreme events occur. Business cases are being provided in 2 areas. One for trees to deal with falling and damaged trees, especially affecting power lines and personal property. Another for sidewalks to increase the ability to respond to service requests to ensure sidewalks are accessible. 2014 was to be the final year of the increase to the dedicated levy for the Joseph Brant Hospital redevelopment project. To mitigate the tax increase in 2014, the proposed $1.2 million levy increase could be reduced by $300,000. This strategy would require the final $300,000 increase to the levy in 2015. This chart illustrates the breakdown of revenues for 2014. The city's proposed budgeted revenue for 2014 is over $209.1 million. Property tax is the single largest source of revenue funding Burlington services at 64%. This includes the dedicated levy of $4.8 million for the Joseph Brant Hospital redevelopment project. Departmental revenues and recoveries at 23.5% include revenues such as parks and recreation registration fees, building permits, and transit fares. The municipal grant of 2.4% is the federal and provincial gas tax. Other corporate revenues at 9.7% include items like supplementary taxes, investment income, and a $250,000 annual provision from our Hydro Reserve Fund. Property tax bill that you receive is made up of 3 components: the city, the region of Halton, and the boards of education. The city receives 42 cents per $1 of property tax. Based on the proposed budget, this equates to $380 per $100,000 of your current value assessment. This slide highlights how that $380 of funding is distributed to the services residents receive. Services include such things as fire protection, roads and parks maintenance, funding for infrastructure renewal, public transit, parks and recreation services, and funding for our local boards. As indicated previously, the proposed budget results in a city tax increase of 4.13%. When combined with the other two portions of the tax bill, the total tax increase is 1.68%. This chart takes similar properties and compares the total taxes that property paid in 2013. As you can see, the total taxes on a bungalow in Burlington are the fifth lowest in these GTA municipalities. Going forward, the City will be introducing 3 new concepts to our budgeting process for 2015. They include results-based accountability, business process management, and service-based budgeting. As we continue in the budget process, our next steps are continued public consultation and committee and council review and approval. Opportunities to provide further input into the 2014 budget are available online where tonight's presentation and workbook are posted. The Community Corporate Services Committee reviews the capital and current budgets. Meetings are held at 9:30 a.m. in council chambers on the following dates: February 11th for the capital budget review, February 13th for delegations to be heard on the current budget, and February 20th for the current budget review. Thank you again for your participation. If you would like any further information on the 2014 proposed budget, please visit www.burlington.ca/budget. Thank you.